Hello, welcome back. We're glad to have you guys here for another episode of Firestorm at Home. That's right, I'm Coach FreeLove, and you're here, the lovely viewer. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys and everything that you guys are doing for us as far as viewership and shares. And if you guys are liking and commenting, subscribe, or even hit that notification bell so that way you guys know when we are pushing content. Speaking of pushing content, we've been pushing a lot of content, a lot of hour-long classes. Well, because there's a lot of you guys that need those at-home classes. So, that being said, we are definitely here for class, but we are here for our first shortened parkour class. We are no longer going to be an hour long, we're going to be half an hour. This is partially due to the fact that we are trying to move forward and push our buildings out of quarantine and into a more open and viable position, so that way we can start coaching you guys in a more appropriate environment. At home is great, and this has all been archived so that way you guys have plenty of resource. You guys have almost 100 hours of resource here between our classes, and over 100 hours of resource if you include all of the tutorials that Coach Justin's put out. So you guys take all of that into great consideration as we get started with today's class. It's going to be a little bit shorter. We're focusing on our side-to-side cartwheel and our side flip technique that we can do some workouts for, increasing that skill. Now, we're going to make sure our space is clear. I have moved everything out of my space. My cats are running around. I have the lovely Miss Summer behind the camera. And maybe there's been a few furniture changes. It's really nice. It's reassuring me that now I can get ready for my workout. I'm going to go on ahead and roll out my mat. Nice open space. And make sure that I take a good strong posture. I like to go just a little bit wider than my shoulder width, maybe 1.5 my shoulder width. Keeping myself strong, very nice tall spine is the main focus here. I'm going to take my chin and push it over to one shoulder. It's going to roll from shoulder to shoulder on the opposite side, brushes across my chest. Just like that. Nice. Back and forth just a few more times. Make sure that you guys are making your spine nice and tall the whole time. You don't want to find yourself slouching over. Keep your posture nice and strong. Good. All right, we're going to stop there with the half neck circle and start with our backwards shoulder shrugs. Make sure that you guys shrug not just through the shoulder, but you're lifting also your shoulder blade to help really increase the capacity at which we can shrug up, and then pinch that shoulder blade when we push backwards. So we're starting with a big backward shoulder circle. I like to bend my arms a little. And I'm kind of looking down, or sometimes I'll use a reflective surface like my mirror, my microwave. It helps me to mind my posture and make sure that I'm doing the movement as best as I possibly can. Mobility is really important. We're going to go the opposite direction. Nice. Good stuff. We're going to move down and into our torso just ever so slightly. We're going to do a few light twists, but I want you to widen your stance a little bit more. We're going to go into about 2 times our shoulder width, and then again, mind that tall posture. Keep your spine up nice and strong. And we're going to twist slowly through and untwist back the opposite direction. You guys can see I'm twisting back and forth, just kind of rhythmically almost. While we do this, we're going to add a wrist roll in there. So we're going to do a slight twist in the torso and a wrist roll. So twist and wrist. Make sure your body's ready for some moving and grooving. And don't forget to breathe, guys, the whole time that we're doing this. Let's go opposite direction for those wrist rolls. All right, very good stuff. So we are going to move down the spine a little bit more into our hips so that we can do a few hip circles. Again, isolate the spine. That means I want as little movement, I'd say, above my hands as possible. And the lower your hands are, the harder that is. So if my hands are way up here and I'm just trying not to move just my chest, but then if my hands are way down here and I'm trying to move only my hips. There's a little bit of extra sway or movement that is bound to happen in the rest of the body, but your goal is still to move your pelvis around the base of your spine. Let's go the opposite direction. And constantly breathing very strong. I like to go in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, let's go ahead and bring our feet and our knees together just a little bit more. Go ahead and make sure that we're squeezing our toes and our heels nice and tight. We're going to put our hands on our knees and squat down nice and low. Swing our knees in a few circles. I like to visualize my knees are going over and behind my toes, almost making a circle around my toes. Again, above them, atop them. Try and stay in that squat, nice strong spine. And let's go the opposite direction as well. And for those of you that have kept your heels on the ground like I have, now we're going to make a slight adjustment and include our ankles with our little circles here. So go ahead and lift your heel off the ground, just like so. And now we're going to do a few more circles, but don't let the heel touch the ground. And let's go the opposite direction as well. Again, try not to let that heel touch the ground. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I feel that. Knees, ankles, oh yeah, all mobilized. So, now we're going to do just a little bit more warm-up. Now, I have my mat here so that way I'm mindful of my space and I have sort of like a central line for me to use during my later workout. Specifically practicing our cartwheel, and again we're going to talk about some of the technique you can use to kind of work on your side flip. Right? Now, this being said, I want to be very, very mindful of my furniture and my space here when we start getting into those skills. So if you have stuff that has sharp corners, or maybe you've got little kids that are running around, know your space. Be mindful. Now, we're going to start with a couple of lunges. I'm going to step one leg out and keep one leg back. That back leg is straight, my front leg is bent. This distance from front foot to back foot is about the length of one of my legs. Now, this position will become super helpful for, front to back cartwheels and round-offs like we talked about a couple of episodes ago. But for right now, we're just going to use this in the lower body for us to practice a little workout here on the front leg. We're going to dip and hop that front leg up off the ground. Drop back into that lunge and just focus on what we would be doing if we were entering a handstand or a cartwheel or a round off. But we're just getting that little bit of jump out of that front foot You guys may see that I've got a little bit of this left to right action. I'm jumping a little sideways here or there. That's because I'm trying to balance, and if you're doing it at home, you're following along, you understand that that balance can be kind of hard to attain. So, real quick, something that will help you with your balance is finding something to spot. Spotting is the act of staring at a certain target. That is, I don't know, for me, my salt and pepper shakers, or my candle, or maybe it's my cat. If my cat's not moving, a not moving target, right? I'm going to spot that target and make my balance while spotting that target and continue with my workout. I'll find less fluctuation in my movement, and like everything is a lot more balanced. I'll feel a little bit more stable and controlled because everything's not a blur because I'm bouncing back and forth and moving so much. Spotting helps to make clear the blur during movement, right? Now, I did a bunch on my right leg. Ha! Wish I counted. Good thing I have the clock going. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch on over for about a minute and a half, like we did on the clock, and light hops on that leg. So, back into that lunge on the opposite side. Again, legs length apart, front leg is bent, back leg is straight. If you guys already know what we're doing, you don't need me to explain. Jump right on in. And for those of you that are just getting here, I appreciate all your viewership. So let's get into it. And start with those front leg lunge hops. Just a little hop. And again, we can practice the act of spotting a target during the movement here. You can spot high or low. I prefer to spot at about my eye level for most of my skills. If I'm on a trampoline or something else and dismounting, the spot will change. That's because the circumstances have changed. And as you guys begin really pushing your flips and other acrobatic movement, you will see, feel, and understand that statement even more. Just a little bit more. Oh, lost my balance as I looked at my foot and stopped spotting my candles. Got these really pretty candles. There's no reason not to look away from those. Okay, all right. Nice. Quads definitely are warm. Feeling it in my legs. We're gonna go ahead and warm up our torso and our upper body just a little bit. So what I like to do is a few Russian twists. We're gonna go on ahead, take a seat on our mat here. So again, sitting long ways on your mat and towards the center of it, having just a little bit of clearance on either side so that this way I can reach to the edge of my mat without smacking out something hard and uncomfortable. I'm going to try and keep my legs floating as best as I can, but if you guys maybe are still developing that core strength and that leg strength, then you guys can leave your legs resting. But try maybe switching one leg in the air and then the other as you are doing your Russian twist, right? So I'm just going to keep those legs floating, keep that chest up. Spotting does help here too. You guys can pick something in front of you that's not moving. I don't try and spot my own feet. In fact, I am still spotting that really pretty candle. I'm also checking my posture, making sure that I'm not falling over. This fun little warm-up for the core is super helpful. Whether you guys realize it or not, we've already started our work on our side flip. We've already started our work on our cartwheel. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let's rest. Okay, now we're going to take care of the arms by going into a neat little plank position. For those of you that don't know plank, we're going to rest on our forearms and we're going to hold our body up nice and straight as if we were in a push-up. So, staying entirely within the confines of my mat, I like to line my forearms up to be about parallel to the edge of my mat. You guys can also make this neat little triangle with your hands and your forearm. This is personal preference. We're gonna hold our body up, and I'll say left. That means you'll put your left arm up, or I'll say left, and you put your left arm down. I'll say right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. So there's your example. It's like a listening game and a forearm bicep tricep workout all at once. So let's make the most out of it. Let's get those arms and our core nice and warm. And that nice strong, again, I like to go hands out in parallel for this game specifically. Strong plank, left, right, 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 left, 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 right, left. Readjust your arms if you need to. Left, 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 right, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. Rest. All right. Coach, that was really fast. I couldn't keep up. Sit. Rewind it. Try again. It won't change. I promise. That being said, we are warm. We're mobilized. We're ready. We're going to get a quick sip of water. We're going to talk about cartwheels and side flips. Get some water. Come on back, guys. Yeah. What's up? We're back. I am well hydrated. I hope you are also. It's a wonderful day. I've got my air conditioning on because it's not as wonderful outside. That's all right. We're not going to talk about that because it's Memorial Day. What we're going to talk about is how you guys are awesome and probably still being socially responsible even though it's a holiday. We appreciate you guys following us and doing your workouts, staying at home and hanging out. And you know, doing your best to maintain and flatten that curve still. So, thanks guys. Now, little disclaimer is all done. We're going to jump on back into our workouts. More over our skills practice. Now, just an episode or two ago, we did speak about our front to back cartwheel, but I mentioned our side to side cartwheel. So, I'd like to first talk about the lunge. I'm standing with one leg off my mat and one leg on my mat because I know this movement will take up quite a lot of space. In fact, I don't feel like this is enough space for me. And if you guys don't think you have enough space in the area that you're in, it's smart to assess that and adjust. I'm going to make a slight adjustment here of my mat and give myself a little more space by using that diagonal space because it's just a little bit further across. So now I'm going to stand in that nice strong lunge like we talked about, and I'm going to bring my arms up and into that. Arms are like an extension of my spine here. I'm going to kick my back leg up, and as I do so, I'm going to reach my hands out towards that front half of my mat. So, big kick up, that back leg, big reach with the hands, not kicking my fan. Whew. Being very mindful of my space here. Now, I did travel as far across as I could because it's a very long very far traveling movement. Our side-to-side cartwheel is ever so slightly shorter. So for our side-to-side cartwheel, instead of striking that lunge position, we'll stand sideways. And I'll be standing in with one foot on my mat and one foot off my mat, just as I was very similarly before. Again, legs are about a leg's length apart here. I'm going to reach my arms up. My favorite childhood coach, Coach TK, he taught me this is smiling starfish position. He said, smile harder, and I said, okay, coach. But we're going to stand nice and strong. We're going to fold just ever so slightly at the torso as we reach our hands down towards the center line of our mat. Now I'm here towards the center of my mat with my foot, but if you guys need a more direct line, you can slide your mat and adjust so that you're literally on the edge of your mat. So now I have a straight line for me to follow from first foot to both hands to second foot. So again, up in my smiling starfish. Yes, coach. And I'm going to fold and reach. I'm coming back just ever so slightly off my line. So I'm going to reach across a little further. We travel off our line if we've folded too much during our reach. So mindful of my mistake, making my correction, teaching that lesson for my class. Nice strong body, upright, reach. Ooh. Now coming back just ever so slightly, but still trying to mind my space. Much more controlled, straight over the top, side to side cartwheel. Now, a lot of people don't realize how helpful having your side to side cartwheel is. Whether you guys have it on your dominant side or your non-dominant side, you guys should practice both. So, striking that stance, being mindful of my space, trying to follow my line as best as possible. Big starfish position for my starting reach. Fold and reach. Much more controlled. And like many people, I have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. I have to practice both. You guys can make the most of your time by going left to right, back and forth from starting position to finishing position without really stepping out of it if you guys have the means to. Now, talking about our side flip a little bit more. The cartwheel doesn't exactly give you a side flip. It does really help to introduce your body with sideways entry into physical inversion and sideways exit from physical inversion. Coach, what's that mean? Physical inversion. You're flipped when you actually have flipped. So it helps to work you into it and work you out of that sideways movement. So just practice them, knowing that they're going to be super helpful down the road. Separately, we'll talk about our couch. And for now, my couch and the way that it's set up, I can't roll across my couch very well and hope that you guys can see it all. There's a few things that may be in the way that I just can't quite use. But what we can do is practice a sit roll on our mat. Now, if you guys are curious, we did talk about our side flip in a previous episode, and it's your Memorial Day. And my treat to you is a small Easter egg hunt. You want more help on your side flip, you can either check out our side flip tutorial from Coach Justin, or you can go find my episode, read the description, check it out. You'll see which one has side flips in it. Maybe, if you guys didn't find the side flip episode just yet, you'll have found another episode that interests you on another skill that you missed. So, let's go check out some of those past episodes, like I said. Now, I'm going to take this mat to practice. I'm going to sit with my legs halfway on and halfway off. Almost like I'm in a pike. Now, if I was sitting on a couch, I'd be practicing this roll the same way, or very similarly. But here really helps us to exaggerate how much we need to fold our body and kind of tuck and curl when we do a side flip. I'm going to try to roll from seated here to seated there across this line. I'm going to pull my arms in. I'm making almost a little circle here with my arms. I'm going to pull them in and fold my body across, trying to gracefully set my shoulder and back down across the floor as best as possible while hoisting my legs up, maintaining that tight squeeze between my quad and my torso, just right here. So, in and folded, and you guys can see maybe I've almost curled into a little bit of a tuck under my knees. When we're doing this seated roll, this seated pike roll, this is a great drill. I have a lot of fun with it. You guys couldn't tell, it wasn't very challenging. It's not very dangerous as long as you're not in a dangerous space, but I can practice it on both sides pretty liberally. And it seems I've rolled off axis on my bad side. I'll just have to readjust and practice again like we did with our side-to-side cartwheel, moving left to right, figuring out what side I roll a little bit more accurately with more balance and more control on. Okay. That's definitely my dominant side for those of you that can't tell. It's definitely the side that I more often than not side flip on. And this one, I'm going to try my hardest. Okay. So, a little bit more practice of that drill, and I would have what I need to move on to my couch with that drill. Coach, why would we do that? That's a great question. That's because it gives you just a slightly greater challenge. It also gives you the ability to bend your legs and to form in that arm swing a more appropriately tucked position so that you're more like in a side flip. So, that being said, there is your lesson on cartwheels and side flips. We talked about the skills that you guys are going to need, the basic movements that you're going to want to do, and the practice that you guys should use. I hope you guys enjoy this new approach for our live streams. This helps to really cut down on some of the workouts and streamline more of the focus on what you guys should be doing as far as skills practice. And that's always really cool and really fun. So we hope to get some great feedback from you guys. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and we will see you soon.